Welcome to Charts Today. My name is David Linton, and today's edition for Tuesday, the 14th of June, comes to you from London. And we had lots of big falls on the market yesterday. The US market down 4%, taking us to new lows. No big surprises here, hitting the downside target, so that's pretty key. We'll look first of all at the dollar. The dollar is strong. On all three time frames. Remember, this is my weekly, my daily, and my 60-minute. And if I look at just some of the alerts, lots of downside targets just kicking in, and we can just literally go and just look at some of these. So gold hitting a 90-bar low, not what you'd expect with markets falling. Normally that's risk on trade. New target for Apple. So you can set these targets up on whatever you want to watch, basically, in your updated news. Let's start by looking at the dollar. That's looking higher. The euro then is weaker, bearish below the cloud on all three time frames. This 103.50 level is really critical. We break below that, we go to the next targets. And of course, we put a report out a few months ago on how low the euro could go. We've got some very big downside targets there. Sterling falling, sitting at 121.68, testing the bottom here as well. That takes us back to nearly a two-year low against the dollar. So that's significant as well. And falling against the euro as well. So we are just seeing sterling weaker on that medium and short-term chart below the cloud. Bitcoin sitting at $22,000 really has gone into free fall this week. Again, no big surprises there. We've got some big downside targets to aim for, and that's where we're heading. The US stock market, of course, now really putting in that lower low again. So a succession of a high, then a lower low, lower low. So that's really significant there as well. And looking at the futures this morning, we are seeing a recovery of around 1%. So you imagine that's 4 steps down, 1 step up. So these are just counter trend moves. Some buying interest kicking in at these levels, but boy oh boy, brave to be buying this market at the moment. VIX volatility is still sitting above 30, so that's the fear index is still in this high territory, and it's bullish on all three time frames there as well. Footsie futures up 0.25% this morning, so a bit of a dead cat bounce there, and the DAX in Germany up 0.4%. Again, a bit of a dead cat bounce. Tokyo was down a further 1.2%. We did see a recovery in Hong Kong and China. If we look at the Shanghai Composite, we are actually looking better than most other markets here on that short-term trend, pretty strong. So hasn't been affected by US markets really. And if we look at India, that was down just slightly, but has had big falls and still is bearish below the cloud on that medium and short-term chart. And the Aussie market was down 3.5%, so that was pretty badly hit overnight as well. We'll look at the energy mix in a minute. We've got wheat down 1%, so that's just retracing, but the reality is they're still bullish on the medium and long-term charts. Gold sitting at 18.28. You'd think gold would be a beneficiary. Stronger dollar not helping gold. There's an inverse relationship there as well, of course. But short term, just really struggling in that medium term. 1800 is the floor on gold. That's the level to watch. US 10-year yield sitting at 3.3%. So activating that upside target of 4.1, and news now that the Fed is likely to raise rates significantly. So that's no big surprises. It's all in the charts, but we're now just watching it play through. Brent crude is up this morning. A break above 124 on Brent crude would be bullish. We've gone out with that to clients. Just waiting for this 132 upside target on the 1-minute chart to be activated. I'll get an alert when that happens, of course. This one on the 60-minute, the 131 target has been activated, so that's quite key. WTI, similar picture, of course, there. So that's quite interesting to watch as well. US nat gas sitting at 864. We were neutral this morning. We're just still below the cloud there on the 60-minute. Coal is actually up this morning, but again, it's just been falling back through that 60-minute chart, and we do have some downside targets, so that did temper our view on coal this week. Emissions just sitting between this 80 and 85 euro mark, really just range bound. If we can get above 85, then we've got a good chance of running higher, but for the moment, and we do have some upside targets, so just watch those on your charts. TTF up 3%, MBP up 4%. We were neutral to clients today, primarily because we're still below the cloud. We do have some upside targets now just starting to kick in on the 1 minute chart, so watch those on your, especially on your OTC data, watch those targets. And German power sitting at 220, just finding support on that 220 level. This was the level where we came back to on the 23rd, 24th of May, back to this same level. This should be a floor. The trend is still very much in train there on the upside chart. That's it for today. Until tomorrow, happy charting. See you then.